I was so excited about this. You know how I always have to, like, trick you into watching something?
Yes.
I always have to trick you into watching something. And it was, like, you just so happened to be, like, right there when I clicked on it. What was it?
Infinity Train?
Infinity Train.
Infinity Train.
Infinity Train, Chapter 3. And, like, what I loved about it is that, like, hours later, I'm laying down. I'm getting ready for bed. I get a text message from you, like, you were psychoanalyzing the trailer. Like, Lauren, did you see in this scene Hazel is wearing Simon's jacket?
That's going to be important.
That's going to be important. You're like, it's like, yeah, you know, unless you, like, pause that scene, you wouldn't have, like, put those two together. And then, like, the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm excited about it. I don't think Emily's excited about it. You haven't watched the other 2 books.
I haven't watched... I started watching book 1.
No, you saw the short film.
And then... Well, no, okay. I didn't watch it per se, but I did kind of skip to the end to see, like, what happened, because I knew it was a thing that people were watching. Now...
I actually almost had a conversation with Mom about it, because she doesn't think that cartoons can be for adults.
Now, in Infinity Train's defense, it is for children, but it's got
the message
that
behind it.
Yes, it's got that level of, like, psycho analyzing.
Well, and there's so much more you can do.
Hey, wait,
with a cartoon, with animated.
Did the creator of Infinity Train also do Over the Garden Wall?
I don't think so.
I'm just thinking this is, like, the second.
Train. What's with all them goddamn trains?
What's with all the trains? I'm thinking about that now, because I'm like, okay, it's a train, and your number is how long you stay on it, and something about the afterlife and whatnot.
Patrick McHale and Infinity Train.
Well, then what's with Cartoon Network and their trains in the afterlife?
Infinity Train was done by Owen Dennis.
In the words of Swiscar, what's with all them's trains?
What's with all them trains?
That's another cartoon. I think that was Swiscar, but that's another, like, Cartoon Network series that is a cartoon that's not for children, and just so happen to have that episode about trains when they're talking about the blues, in case anybody's curious.
And it's like sometimes the reason why, and I had to explain to Mom, like, the reason why 9 was animated, there is so much more you can do with an animated movie that you wouldn't be able to do live action.
Such as psychoanalyze the trailer, which, like, this morning...
Every detail is intentional.
Yes. Before I go any further with my theory...
Please. No,
Because... No. Just because I haven't seen the other 2 books, are there little bits and details... Like, is this a detail that, like, I'm reading too far into, or is this something that, like, people in the series would do?
What's that?
That, like, in the other books, are there tiny details that, like, if you blinked or if you happened to not know a dead language, like, you wouldn't have thought about this? Am I reaching with this one?
No, I don't. I just think it's a little too on the nose.
Okay.
I mean, we have a character named Lake, and that was important somehow.
So, to stick with the names and to go with my theory, which
I was so excited when you sent me this.
Okay, so what we gathered from the trailer is that Grace and Simon have stumbled upon this young girl, Hazel, who just so happens to look a lot like them.
It's exactly like them, almost.
But she is protected by what they are assuming is a Gnoll, who is an ape, named Tuba. And I'm sure that's going to be important later. But one of the things that really stuck with me, as you mentioned earlier, was little things about Hazel, the scene with Hazel wearing Simon's jacket. But there's another scene that I kept going back to where Simon and Tuba, the ape, are staring each other down. And Simon has a fang that points upward, and Tuba has a fang that points downward. And I'm like, what is really bothering me about this scene with them, like, facing each other here? And then it occurred to me, his name is Simon, which is a derivative of the name Simeon in Hebrew. Now, I was like, Simeon, where have I heard that word before? And it took me back to when I was working at a Lutheran school and teaching the kindergartners the names of animals in Latin. Simeon is, or Simia, I think. Something like that. But Simia is the Latin word for monkey. So in the English language, Simeon, get where I'm going with this?
Yes. Simon
means monkey or ape-like.
Not to stop you, but the name Simon, not the word, but the name Simon actually translates to he who listens or he has listened.
But that's what I'm getting at here, is that the name Simon can be traced back to... Oh, I also had a minor in language. So, one of the things we got to do was trace words back to their Latin oranges. Orange. I had a minor in language, I say.
But we were able to trace them back to their Latin oranges.
And their Hebrew bananas. And my point
the monkey
is,
apples, Emily.
Yes, but if you get it down to its basis, oranges. Simon, Simeon, apes.
Tuba.
They're facing each other. Tuba. Tuba is the protective father figure we can assume to Hazel. So you can almost assume that Tuba is going to end up being a null for Simon, that there is a connection here.
I still think Hazel was created by the train to serve as, like, Simon and Grace's hypothetical daughter, and that's what's going to convince him to get off the train, is that they could go have a happy family life together. Because they're adorable, you know. But I worry because, like, and I see this so much, like, Solar Opposites had a couple that, like, oh my gosh, I'm like, these two are precious, I ship them, and then the one, like, Jelly Bean character ended up being evil. And everyone's like, I bet Simon's going to be an asshole.
Simon wears a hoodie and knee pads. A cropped hoodie and knee pads.
And mousetrap shoes.
That man ain't gonna be evil.
That man's gonna be a big loser. No, and even, like...
We have to get her to the apex right away.
Right away.
Who talks like that?
How he talks.
Nobody talks like that.
No, he talks. He sounds like he's mocking a documentary.
See? Not evil.
Like... Oh, and then, what was the other thing, like, someone pointed out? Or, no, I pointed it out. There's a scene, like, in the first book where... Or not the first book, it was the second book, where he, like, comes and he kneels before Grace. And she, like, knights him.
Okay, they're fucking, Lauren. We know it.
And she knights him. And then there's a scene also where, like, he does, like, this little bow and back away, and it turns out that, like, Grace mimics him. He wore black socks and sandals when he first stepped foot on the train. Like, that's gotta be embarrassing as hell. Like, what were you doing that day?
Decidedly not evil.
You're going on to the train that, like, represents grief. Like, how bad were you grieving that, like, I went out in black socks and sandals?
It's his funeral garb.
It's his funeral garb. And like I said, I nearly had a conversation with Mom about it. And I was explaining what Infinity Train was about. And I got to the point about Amelia losing her husband. And she goes, that's really sad, because her numbers going up could represent the fact that she is not yet over her husband and never will be.
It's as if that's the whole premise of the show.
As if that's the whole premise of the show that I just got done explaining. And then she was asking me, like, what channel is it on? Where can I find this, that, the other thing? And she tells me, like, don't tell me anymore, because what if I want to watch it? I'm like, the fact that you even, like, it was weird hearing her talk about it, because she believes cartoons are for children, but...
Well, I was just going to pull it back to that, the fact that she thinks cartoons are for children, and yet she might want to watch this later.
Well, and it's like,
I want good things to happen to these characters. I don't know them. I don't know the lore of the story. But
either.
Based on this 1.5 minute long clip of what I've seen of Simon and Grace, and apparently there's even more lore to them.
Would you like to watch? I've got it pulled up.
In a minute here. because that would be copyright if we played it in this video.
No, I wasn't going to play
Oh,
it, but
yeah,
I'm
no, no, no.
asking, do you want to watch it?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that from what I know of them, from what we've seen in the trailer, I'm actually really excited for this book.